Two Venezuelan fighter jets have once again flown close to a U.S. Navy warship in the Caribbean. And this time, the flyover happened just one day after the first incident. That means two encounters in just 48 hours. For the Pentagon, this was not a coincidence, but a deliberate show of force. The ship involved was the Jason Dunham again, an Arleigh Burke-class destroyer. It was operating in international waters, fully within its legal rights. And yet, Venezuelan F-16s came close enough to make the maneuver both noticeable and provocative. U.S. officials immediately labeled the action highly provocative, calling it dangerous and unnecessary. Some even described it as a game of chicken, a way for Caracas to test how far it can push. What makes this second flyover important is the timing. It took place just after Washington confirmed the deployment of 10 F-35 stealth fighters to Puerto Rico. In other words, as the United States moved to strengthen its air power in the Caribbean, Venezuela responded with another low-level flyby of an American warship. Both sides are signaling, and both sides want their message to be heard loud and clear. President Trump did not stay silent. He issued a stern warning. If Venezuelan aircraft endanger U.S. ships or crews, they will be shot down. That is as direct as it gets. The message is that commanders at sea now have the authority to defend their vessels with force if necessary. No more warnings, no more hesitation. If another flyover crosses the line, the result could be immediate. To understand the full picture, let's break this down. What exactly has happened in the Caribbean? What does the deployment of F-35s to Puerto Rico mean? How strong is the naval force that the U.S. has assembled in the area? And what is the state of Venezuela's F-16 fleet? Let's start with the planes. Venezuela's F-16s are Block 15 models delivered in the early 1980s. Back then, they were advanced, lightweight fighters with good agility and capable of air combat missions. But today, compared to modern American, European, or even Asian versions of the F-16, they are outdated. In terms of weapons, Venezuelan F-16s are typically armed with short-range air-to-air missiles like Sidewinders or Israeli Python missiles. For ground attack, they can carry unguided bombs or rocket pods, weapons that require the pilot to fly close to the target. This means the jets are dangerous at close range, but limited in overall reach. Venezuela originally purchased 24 of these aircraft. Today, after 4 decades of use and major difficulties in acquiring spare parts, analysts believe that only around a dozen are truly operational. Now, let's move to the U.S. response. The deployment of F-35s to Puerto Rico is not just about numbers. It's about technology. The F-35 Lightning II is one of the most advanced aircraft in the world. It combines stealth with advanced sensors, radar, and the ability to share information in real time with ships, satellites, and ground forces. By placing them in Puerto Rico, Washington is creating an air umbrella over the entire Eastern Caribbean. From there, the jets can respond quickly to any situation, monitor airspace with unmatched precision, and deter further provocations. And the F-35s are not alone. The U.S. Navy has built a strong maritime presence in the Caribbean in recent weeks. At least 7 major warships are now confirmed in or near the area. Among them are the destroyers Jason Dunham, Gravely, and Samson. These ships are Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, the backbone of the modern U.S. surface fleet. They can defend against aircraft, intercept incoming missiles, strike land targets, and escort larger vessels. Each one carries over 90 vertical launch missiles, giving them massive firepower. Also present is the cruiser Lake Erie. Cruisers are fewer in number these days, but they carry more than 120 missiles each and are historically the centerpiece of naval air defense. Having Lake Erie in the region shows that the U.S. is building layered protection around its fleet. And then there is the submarine. Officially, the U.S. never confirms the exact position of its submarines, but officials did acknowledge that a nuclear-powered submarine is operating in the Caribbean. A submarine can launch long-range cruise missiles, track ships quietly, and appear anywhere without warning. For any adversary, the uncertainty is part of the deterrence. The most visible part of the American presence, however, is the amphibious Ready Group centered on the Ioima. This is a large flat-deck amphibious assault ship. To the casual eye, it looks like a small aircraft carrier, and in many ways, it functions as one. It carries helicopters, MV-22 Osprey, and sometimes vertical takeoff jets depending on the mission. Its main role is to serve as a mobile base for Marines. Sailing with UMA are two amphibious transport docks, the San Antonio and Fort Lauderdale. These ships are designed to carry Marines, landing craft, armored vehicles, and supplies. Together, the three ships transport the 22nd Marine Expeditionary Unit, more than 4,500 sailors and Marines combined. The 22nd Marine Expeditionary Unit is one of the most flexible forces in the U.S. military. It trains specifically to switch between missions at very short notice. One day it can launch helicopter raids and land. The next it can secure beaches, ports, or critical facilities. It can also conduct humanitarian assistance if required. In other words, this is a self-contained, highly mobile unit that can operate independently for long periods. So, to recap, the U.S. position, stealth F-35s in Puerto Rico, multiple destroyers, and a cruiser in the Caribbean, a nuclear submarine, and thousands of Marines ready for action. All of this is designed to send a clear message. America is prepared, and its forces are not isolated targets, but part of a much larger and powerful network. There are also